No justice?
No peace.
So y'all heard from Martin. Here comes Malcolm. Excuse me? I said, here comes Malcolm. She tells me we're not anti-police, as if Malcolm X was anti-police. Malcolm X was for defense. Defending our community. So we got to be careful about the narratives, the false narratives that we spread about the people that we honor every day. And I think it's only appropriate for the people who are directly impacted, the people who do this work on a daily basis, who are for a black person to speak on the behalf of the directly impacted black community in this community. So today I want to talk to you, and I appreciate everybody being out here. But this is the city beautiful, but today my remarks, what I want to talk to you about is beauty scars. Because there's a lot of beauty scars in the city beautiful that you don't know about. See, we talked about going to the polls, but you did go to the polls. But the people you voted for are the same perpetuators of violence against our community. I know I'm hurting some feelings today, but we're going to be real. How many people in this crowd attend citizen police reward meetings? That's a rhetorical question. How many people knew that when Orlando hosted their Orlando Speaks forums about police and community relations, the very next day, Terry Johnson was abused, battered, and jailed right here in Orlando? So you can talk about being allies, and our elected leadership can talk about being allies, but when you have policies that ban homeless people, and you have law enforcement officers that have a history of abusing our homeless community, abusing people in our black community, we have a problem, and let's talk truth to power. Did you know that in our police citizen review board meetings, they don't have the authority to punish law enforcement? What it is a glorified guidance counselor session. For you to talk about what the police officer did, the internal affairs comes out and they tell you it's not that bad, and he's a black man, the internal affairs guy. And what he does is they sustain the violence. They vote to sustain the violence that has been perpetuated on you and your community and our elderly and our people with disabilities. That's the truth. Because there's something called, and these officers know it, that's why they're not threatened today. Because they're protected by something called the Police Bill of Rights. Which if they get punished by the chief of police, they know they can go to arbitration and get all of that suspension and all of their money back. So we have a system of accountability with law enforcement that's broken all across this country, mainly right here in the state of Florida. Did you also know that the people that when we elected a state attorney, we did this 4 years ago, did we not? When it goes to a grand jury, when a cop shoots into a car and it goes to the grand jury, and the grand jury comes back and says these cops deserve to be charged, our state attorney dropped the charges. I know. Here's what I want to talk to you about. White supremacy and anti-black racism doesn't have a political affiliation. There's a myth, and I want to make sure that the narrative is clear. There's a myth that black folks don't vote. We don't go to the polls. If you talk and research any black, predominantly African American area in Orlando or Central Florida, all of our elected officials are Democrats. However, our communities are still being gentrified. So the peace that you have when you visit our communities, you don't understand when you leave our communities, we are the ones that are continuously catching hell. We're talking truth today. Racism is not just the Proud Boys or looking like you're wearing a MAGA hat or putting a sheet over your head to hide your cowardly bigotry. Racism looks like when you're on your job and there's somebody black that's being mistreated and you don't go to the HR to report it, you allow it to happen. It's institutional racism. What you don't realize is that there's several places from Wall Street where we go and party to downtown Orlando. They are filled with cops with a long history of police misconduct. Our business owners in the city of Orlando have a responsibility that if any police officer has a history of misconduct, you do not select that police officer to do off-duty work because that's where they get the bulk of their money. Truth. Did you know where all of the bad police officers are stationed? Where they can't handle them or they can't get rid of them off of the force? Do you know where they go? They get assigned to our airport. That's the dark shadowy place for OPD. That's where they go, where our tourists, where we welcome them to the city. Do your research. It's WFTV did a report on it. They all get sent to the airport. The system is broken. But I want you to understand that each and every person that I'm looking at today, your neglect, your benign neglect is contributing to that broken system. So the change starts with the accountability in the mirror. What we need in our ask, let's protect our babies, let's protect our children first. What we need is for Orange County Public Schools to pledge that any officer with a history of police misconduct, they are no longer permitted to be stationed at our schools. No longer. What we need is for Orange County Public Schools to make sure that the police officers that are on duty at these schools adhere to the same social media policies that substitute teachers and all of Orange County public school teachers adhere to. That's why, so you can't call us useless savages, thugs, classify us as Antifa, get into your different groups and talk. We're gonna talk truth to power because I'm not mad at you guys because I understand. I believe that everything is okay. When we have disingenuous leadership in law enforcement, like Chief Rallone, when we have disingenuous leadership like John Meade of the Sheriff's Department, when they kneel. When they take a knee in front of OPD, holding the hands of black men behind barricade bars for a photo op, and then 1 hour later, you go and you tear gas everybody out here. You need to go. I'm here to talk about the truth today because I appreciate what's going on, but right here is the unveiling now seeing us. But you gotta make sure that if you're gonna do the work, make sure you're in it for the long haul, because if not, you're nothing but an illusionist. That means you're here today, gone tomorrow, and the fight for justice remains on the stage with the people right here behind me who are always forever in the trenches. People like Lawana Gelzer, who for years has been fighting for justice. This is a woman who has been followed by OPD. She can't even own a car. She has to continue to go get rental cars so that she can keep safe. And all she does with her life is dedicate her life to making sure that we're safe. But we got folks who have vilified her in the media because they want to keep you asleep.
We need a person.
They want to keep you asleep. Notice how these media outlets have not shown the tear gas and they have not shown OPD's violence. They don't want you to know, but today is a new day. So, going to the polls is good. It's okay, but that's not the end game. Marching is good, but it's okay, but that's not the end game. Posting on social media is good, but it's not the end game. What we need to do, if we truly mean and you truly want to unite, you have to use your resources, use your skill set, and it all works together for its good. You have a part in this movement. But what you need to do, if you want immediate gratification, and so these things that I told you today are not in vain. What you need to do, and what I'm pledging and I'm challenging you to do in good faith, is you need to, in August for the election, you need to remove Sheriff John Mina from that office. It's time for him to go. This is a man that has been a perpetuator of violence. If you're not familiar with Noel Carter was a man who was down in downtown Orlando being kicked in the head by law enforcement officers on tape, and John Mina got on TV and said, you didn't see the full picture. But here's the kicker. John Mina was the Orlando police chief, and it was the people in your communities that then elected him sheriff. You have a responsibility to fix it. Fix it. Fix it. Each and every one of you need to fix it. And I'm telling you, you need to fix it. You need to write to your legislators. You need to find out what their position is on George Floyd. You need to find out what their position is on the Police Bill of Rights that's allowing these suspected white supremacist race soldiers to infiltrate law enforcement and brutalize and terrorize our communities. There's a lot of talk about, well, TJ, and I hear this a lot, and I know you guys have heard this, rallies like, okay, well, all police officers are what? Not bad. Right? However, if you're silent, if you're silent, if you're silent, you're violent. What? Got you. I'm gonna wrap soon. They're complicit. There are a lot of police officers who are afraid. And let's talk truth. There are a lot of police officers that can't speak out because internally they will receive backlash. That too is also a part of the broken system. They're not firing these cops. They're putting them on bad details. They're putting other officers in danger who would dare file a complaint, who would dare report misconduct. That is a culture within our law enforcement across the country that needs to be eradicated. Please understand that the mayor, Buddy Dyer, that you elect is just as culpable. When we have officers and city council members are just as culpable with this violence, because he can elect the chief of police and select the chief of police. And if these type of systemic issues and cultural issues continue to fester in our law enforcement officers, then guess what? It's time for him to go too. So, in closing, we all have a part of this. But I'm also a journalist. If you want to keep up with what's going on and support independent black, go to the Facebook page, go to Instagram, the Soap Podcast with 2X, Soapbox with 2X. Follow. We're talking truth to power. But I want you to understand, this movement, we must honor those from our past. We are the present, and the work that we do will make sure that we will have freedom forever. My name is TJLegacy Cole. Thank you so much.